Networks don't talk about it. Government can't tax it. But sports betting is a $200 billion a year business.
That's a major U.S. Supreme Court ruling that could open the door for legalized sports betting all across the country.
The Supreme Court is giving the green light for states to determine on their own whether they want to legalize sports gambling.
Tell Donahue his next pick is good for 20 grand, but I need him to guarantee a win, okay? I need a lock.
He's not that fucking good.
No, Tommy, he has to. All right, he has to, or else they're going to kill me. Do you realize this, Tommy? They're going to fucking kill me. I can't afford to gamble anymore. I need a fucking lock.
And we're in Happy Halloween, and you're probably going to hear Odie in the background. Maybe. I don't know how good he'll get picked up in the mic. He's probably going nuts as my fiance gets home. The Lock Talk fellas are back for some Halloween weekend action. If you're watching on YouTube, nice little spooky background. The boys didn't come dressed up, though. I did tell Joey I may show up in costume. I didn't do it. So
yeah, man. We're running.
How are we doing this week, Joey? How do you guys celebrate New York? How do you guys celebrate Halloween out in New York?
It's a crazy night. I don't really go out for it as much as I used to. It's more house parties and all that shit now. Not even house parties, like apartment parties. Go get dressed up, whatever. I have no idea what I'm doing or being, but we're here to talk locks.
Yeah, we are. A little bit. We're pretty much halfway through. I think when I looked at it, we had roughly like 26 weeks from when we started. So we're like halfway through the season.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I can't believe that. The NFL not officially halfway through the regular season yet. College football did that last week. Podcast has been okay. Little update on the numbers. We're 22-20-1. The lead pipe locks are 3-2 as a whole. I mean, that's all we can ask for, really. You want to be above 500 this weekend. Interesting. I don't know if we would call it exciting as far as college football goes. We get 21 of the top 25 in action. Only 2 of those games are against ranked opponents. However, a lot of teams with some eerily tight spreads. Joey and I are going to run through some of those matchups, see if there's anybody that is on upset alert. Under 50 games on Saturday. It's going to be the least amount of games we've seen since week 0. If you haven't Apple picked yet, I've been saying every week now it's Apple picking weekend. If you haven't done it by now, your girl is very upset. You've missed the boat. So can't go Apple picking this weekend. You're just going to have to eat this college football slate, which we'll kind of run through here. Just kind of touch on a few things, but this program has kind of shifted, Joey, and we probably saw this coming, to mostly NFL.
Yeah, that time of year, man. Also, NBA's back, so we're probably going to throw in some NBA on here, college basketball very soon. Probably get some NHL talk. We need to get some NHL people on here, some NBA people on here. That's what we need to start.
We don't know. I don't know the NHL guys. I don't know NHL guys that are honestly serious. The guys that I know are.
So I was with one this weekend. Big capper. I don't even think he uses Twitter much or anything like that, but he sends a note in his phone, like uses the notes app, sends it to his buddies every day. I'm like, you're coming on that list. So
get me on that list.
Noted. He's coming on soon.
Very cool.
Maybe we'll pump out some more episodes too, because it's not.
Yeah.
Like
I think we can get
the weekly. Maybe we'll have Paulie join soon.
We can get a rotation going during the week of guys that we have more action. Speaking of more action, Joey, something coming up next week that is my favorite part of the college football season for anyone that's ever followed me. It starts Tuesday, Halloween night, the spookiest shit you ever seen. Maction is back, Joey. Maction is back. During the week, Tuesday night football. We've been getting Tuesday night, and honestly, I haven't been betting it a whole lot. It's hard to really get into some, and it's all not great football. The MAC, something about the MAC, though, being 20-degree winds, spitting snow. All these teams are down south at 70 degrees. They're running around, blah, blah, blah. Joey, Maction is right on the horizon, and you boys excited.
Yo, that's your wheelhouse. and I'm going to be texting you a lot. I'm going to be tailing a lot of your picks. I'm pumped. I love the college football that's already midweek now. NBA, college, what a great time of year.
It's
everything.
Everything.
So when looking at these lines, we'll just jump right into it. It's going to be like 80 and sunny here on the East Coast this weekend. So something to consider.
So hot.
For a lot of these games because it started getting cold, a little bit of a heat wave this week. So that'll, that's worth noting when looking at some totals. But, and then I'm sure it'll just drop to freezing cold right after that because that's how it goes. But yeah.
Oh, don't worry. Have you seen the West Coast?
No.
Oh, it's coming. So I go to Denver this weekend, and luckily we get out of there on Sunday. By Monday, it's going to be snowing. And that shit is all headed east. And if you look at the Doppler, it looks ugly.
Yeah.
So like you said, it's really nice right now. If you're an East Coaster, I would get outside. The Midwest kind of got it this past weekend. We had a chance to get some like 60s. We had like 65 the last couple of days, but it was rainy. It sounds like you guys are going to get more of the sun stuff, which kudos. It's not every year we get that in November. So
well,
definitely.
It's been raining a lot on the weekends. It's been pretty shitty. And like Jets Giants is this Sunday. It's going to be like 80 and sunny, I think. I don't think there's any rain. I'll take a look now and see if anything's changed. But
I did not see any rain. There were some unseasonably warm games that were highlighted in an article I read. That was one of them. So before we get into NFL, let's talk a little bit of college football. Joey, we've got teams on upset alert. I've got spreads that I'm going to run through real quick. Obviously, we haven't watched every single game. We're both very straightforward. We're not going to tell you we watch every single game. That's bullshit. There's 50 games going on. We don't keep up with every single one, but the ones that we do and the ones that we know, we got picks on. And I want to start you with a team that I know you haven't watched in the past, but I know you've watched recently. Oklahoma is laying 10 at Kansas with no Jalen Daniels for Kansas. Oklahoma, to me, at 7-0 is probably one of the weaker 7-0 teams, but they beat every team in front of them. It's not a good spot on the road, but to me, Oklahoma, I don't think I'd put them on upset alert without Jalen Daniels. Any thought on that game for you?
No, not yet. It is. No, I don't have any. I was trying to sound smart, but I don't think it was going to sound smart. So,
that's okay. I'm a big Kansas better when Jalen Daniels is playing.
I know I was going to say that's all you.
That's my team, but unfortunately, since I bet him as I believe it was a lead pipe lock the Texas weekend, and then getting like 5 minutes before the game. Yeah, he's out. By the way, he's out for like the next month. So Kansas football is kind of falling apart. This next one. I don't think this is an upset matchup as much, but we're going to get Arch Manning on Saturday, I think. Wow. We're going to get our first taste of Boy Wonder as Texas is 17.5-point favorites against BYU at home.
Is that official?
It's not official yet. I think they haven't announced it. A lot of times with college football, they don't announce starting quarterbacks and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, it's a tougher one to actually go after. But I'll tell you, Arch Manning, well, as far as hype goes, if people thought Shedeur Sanders got a lot of hype and Colorado got a lot of hype, just wait till Arch Manning has a 4-touchdown game. ESPN is going to have Arch Manning platform everywhere. The Manning Cast, ESPN, their best friend. This is the next most annoying thing that ESPN is going to bring up. A few other ones that I'm just going to fly through. USC's laying 10.5 at Cal. USC frauds. Future is dead on them for me.
Screwed a lot of people over. Yeah.
They lose. Probably one of the worst parlay pairing losses we've seen for this year. Because I don't think anybody was betting them straight money line, but I guarantee they were a lot of late night last piece of the parlay, and they fall. Tough one there. Tulane's laying 10.5 at Rice, kind of flying under the radar. Is that one's really tight. Rice, not a very good team. Tulane, very good team. Speaking of very good teams, Air Force undefeated, 12.5-point favorites at Colorado State. I put this in here. This is probably the biggest game of Air Force history. And it's probably the biggest game in Air Force history every single game going forward until the season's done. Now, my question for you, Joey, is an undefeated Air Force team, is there enough cannibalization in the top 10 to where they could sneak a bid with only 4 teams? In my opinion, it's no. In my opinion, they're not there yet. This is why they are expanding to 10 or 12 teams. We'd need multiple 2-loss teams with an undefeated Air Force, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've not seen it yet, man, but that's a Friday night team. They're on some Friday night games. It's kind of crazy.
The Mountain West. That's the Mountain West. Next one, I just wanted to make note of it because anybody that thinks Wisconsin can hang within 2 touchdowns of Ohio State is on crack and has not watched the Badger game. I don't know. Did you see how the Badger game ended last week?
No.
Wisconsin did not move the football for 3.5 quarters.
Yeah.
We had a freshman, I believe a redshirt freshman at quarterback. And, they ended up running up, I believe, 20 straight points or 22 and threw a game-winning touchdown to a lineman. So the most Wisconsin finish ever in a game that they had no business winning. Ohio State looked really good against Penn State. I didn't want to really bring it up, but let's be honest.
They did, man. They're getting better every week too. They kind of had a slow-ish start, some would say. People were saying
absolutely
started slow and this and that, but Harrison's, as long as he's in too, he's such a game changer. I don't know, it's your neck of the woods, Madison area, Wisconsin, so you tell me, maybe you even touched on it before I missed it, what the weather's looking like this Sunday. But Ohio State is just, they're rolling right now. In the 14.5, I think. Yeah, I think they win by 3+ touchdowns in this one.
And if you don't like the 14.5, I actually wrote it in my notes. 7.5 first half. I don't hate that one either. I think Ohio State is going to come in. Ohio State's lost this game at Wisconsin before. I was at the season that I believe it was the year Ohio State, and I don't want to get it wrong, but they've lost this game in Madison before. They lost this number.
Sure. I mean, the past 10 years, both teams have been,
But this is a really bad Wisconsin team, and they're banged up, and they're just not there yet. To me, if you can hang 14 at a decent price, I would like 14 better than 14.5. But yeah, that's my take on that one. UNC laying 11.5 at Georgia Tech. Really, all I wanted to say is Drake May. I told every single person that him and his team fraudulent. I mentioned last week, Joey. I don't know if you saw, I have now a 3-unit future on Florida State to reach the college football playoff, which North Carolina was at the end of that tunnel. They still are because of the Syracuse or Clemson loss, which love that. I love watching Clemson lose. But Drake May, not the guy.
That was brutal.
Drake May and Caleb, we talked about both those guys being locks 1-2. I don't think I'd hemorrhage any sort of future that I have. If you got the pick, great. If you're Chicago, you got the pick, make the pick. But I'm not trading up for Drake May or Caleb Williams at this point. I don't see enough out of either guy.
Yeah, I think past few weeks for both of them, I've seen the narrative change, especially with Caleb Williams. I mean, people were
the Williams one in the
number 1 pick to I don't even want this guy. Now he's talking about ownership and all that shit. So,
that's what I wanted to touch on. What is your take on a player who hasn't even won a college national championship, has won Heisman, who a lot of guys have won the Heisman, Joey, and not done shit in the NFL, seen it very often. The fact that he would request ownership just blew my mind. And guys like Cowherd, who are USC apologists and lovers, they didn't grill him like I wish they would have. And now you're kind of seeing it now that they have a few losses, that he's kind of catching some strays on Twitter. But I don't think the reaction to that was strong enough. That blew my mind. Like, seriously, like, who is going to dude, we gave you the number 1 pick.
Right.
What else? Like, there, you cannot. So that was just my opinion on it, but I was interested.
Yeah, it was a little crazy. I don't think many people are, they're seeing that as a strength or anything, right? It's like, that's just going to hurt him, if anything. That's my thoughts on it, but I haven't really thought much about it. I know a lot of people are starting to call him a fraud, like yourself. You've been calling Drake May a fraud since July, August. That was a shit loss, but I do think they'll bounce back and beat Georgia Tech. I think they should cover the 11.5, 12, whatever it's at right now. Just a good bounce back spot for them, I think. But yeah, that game Saturday night was not great. Okay.
Not great at all. And the last one that I wanted to touch on is probably the biggest question mark of the weekend. Oregon State laying 3.5 at Arizona. Arizona 4-3, I believe, but they played USC and Washington to a 1-score game, and they housed Washington State 44-6.
I believe Arizona is also 6-1 against the spread.
Ooh,
One of the better ATS teams in the entire nation.
I like that. That's a good nugget. I'm not
3.5 that
at all.
hook, man.
The
That
hook,
shit is
the hook is dirty. It's a home hook. You get a home hook in a conference game.
That could be a T spot for your boy. But
yeah. Great.
Yeah, Arizona's like Pac-12 is obviously super strong this year. We've shown some love to Arizona, but I think they're 6-1 against the spread. Look it up. Actually, I'll just Google it right now. But Arizona's pretty good against the spread, getting 3.5 at home. That's worth a look for sure.
Yeah. Well, you look at that. I'm going to talk this next one. Oregon laying 6.5 at Utah. Utah coming off the, obviously, like we said, upset over USC. If Utah listened to the program, congratulations. I gave you the exact script of how last week went. Didn't matter that they couldn't throw the football. However, their quarterback did have 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. They also had 250 yards on the ground and just daddied USC over and over and over again. Oregon is in major double bounce back territory. Last week, Washington State hung around way longer than they should have. The week before is the loss to Washington. They're looking for not a signature win, but a we're back kind of win, because right now, I don't think they're on anybody's radar to be a playoff team. I think they very much fell off. I mean, the peak for them right now was beating Colorado, which is not that big of a peak in my opinion. So, to me, it's an interesting game. I know that you have a little bit more of an opinion. I don't have a lean on it either way.
6.5 is big.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's at right now, right?
6.5 on the road against one of the best
on the road
defenses in the country.
Utah is taking care. I think Rising's out for a season, right? Utah is handling business without him, and they're home. That big of a dog at home. The lean here is on Utah. It's got to be, right? As good as Oregon has been, the lean here. My immediate first reaction lean is Utah plus 6.5 at home, with potential for an outright win.
Yeah, I mean, is this one of those games, and it does feel like it to me, that if you're going to bet Utah plus 6.5, I might just bet Utah outright, because if they're going to beat Oregon, they have to hold Bo Nix down, and that's a tough. It's a tough task.
You could do a little bit of both.
It's going to be hard, because the Oregon defense, that's one side of it. We saw what Oregon's defense did to Colorado.
Two very good defenses, which
and a respectable total for college, 48, not very high.
Not very high. Two good defenses. So maybe you want to look at the under there. But while we're talking about Oregon, and I was just talking about Arizona, shout out Ben Fawkes, big gambling Twitter follow on X/Twitter. Best college football teams against the spread this season: Arizona 6-1, Oklahoma 6-1, Penn State 6-1, UNLV 6-1, Rutgers 6-1-1, Oregon 5-1-1, Miami, Ohio 6-2, whatever. So Oregon 5-1-1, and back to Arizona 6-1 against the spread. Worth noting, is that sustainable? Yes, but Oregon 6.5 favorites on the road in Utah. That's a tough place to play. Utah's got a great coach, great team. I think a little banged up, but right now I'm thinking Utah 6.5.
This is something that I would say it's Utah 6.5 if this was a 7:30 kickoff your time. Because when the lights go down in Utah, that team changes. I don't know if you watched Utah last season against USC. Whoa. All the ice just settled.
It is a 3:30 Eastern game.
Yep, it's gonna be a 1:30 local kick. So that the sun is staying high in the sky. So if it was a night game,
Good point.
I would be more on Utah. They've done that in the past. If you look at the analytics, actually, Utah at night is pretty nuts ever since like 2004.
Definitely.
So
no, that's a crazy place to play. They're really good at home, so them getting 6
underrated home field advantage. What the fuck else are you doing in Utah?
Any team, even Oregon, who's stellar at home, is definitely worth taking a look at. So, something I'm not jumping on now. Of course, that's definitely. I'll wait closer to the weekend there to see if there's any more injury news, whatever. Because I do think Utah, outside of Rising, is facing some more injuries. But
yeah, I think their back end of their defense is banged up, which against Bo Nix is definitely quite the kicker. Right. So outside of that game, just one other game that I really wanted to touch on. It's one that I'm probably going to play if one man is announced as active. Duke 4-point dogs on the road against Louisville. Louisville's 13th in the country. Brian Brom. Take a bow. Jack Plummer
quietly.
Take a bow. Purdue fans punching air as they had literally both of those guys. My first time, fun fact, my first time doing my solo podcast was Plummer's first year at Purdue, which was 2 seasons ago. And it was Purdue versus, I think, Nebraska in that first week 0 game. And it was actually – Brom had to choose between Plummer and Aiden O'Connell.
Okay.
And I said on my podcast, I said, dude, it's this Plummer kid. He's gonna start. It's Purdue all day, blah, blah, blah. Aiden O'Connell came in and shit the bed. And I felt so stupid for getting the starting quarterback wrong on the first game that I pitched. When I had my solo show, that was brutal, but fun fact there. But the reason that I'm betting this game, I like the total. The total is 46.5. Like I said, I'm looking at Riley Leonard. He is the Duke quarterback. He is dynamic as it gets. Injured his ankle against Florida State last week, came back in, began to lead a comeback. He gets sacked, re-injures the ankle. He is looking like he's playing, but he needs to play for me to bet this over. The Duke offense averages a hair under 30 points per game. They've never been this explosive. 2 good receivers, 2 good running backs. Leonard can move the sticks with his arm on the ground. He can do it 2 different ways. Defensively, Elko's got the 5th best scoring team in the country. Now, we've seen them play Notre Dame and FSU in the past, or 2 of the past 3 weeks. They combined for 70 points. So I think Duke did benefit from a pretty weak schedule, and that's why I bet them for the season. I have a season future on them over 6.5 wins. They played cupcakes moving into this. Right. Louisville's offense can cook. They average over 460 yards per game, 35 points per game. Not to mention they've done it against only Power 5 opponents except for Murray State. Defensively, they're really good against the run, but their secondary is pretty sus. They allow over 250 yards in over half their games. Coincidentally, they're pretty good quarterbacks. The Sam Hartmans of the world tore them up. This is a game that I think plays faster than years past has done. But again, I'm not betting the over unless Riley Leonard's playing. So that's where I stand on that one. I just wanted to get that pitch in there because I know you may not have an angle, but I know where you will have angles. It's the National Football League.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun,
I'll have
dun.
an angle on Duke Louisville, I'm sure, once
Oh
once
no!
we get closer.
Don't worry. You're gonna see how it goes at 11 o'clock. Joey's gonna be up
Exactly.
like $200, and he's like, "Well, I'm gonna unload on the over because I just saw Riley Leonard is active."
Fuck yeah, exactly. But a decent, even if it's a bit of a smaller slate, it's still a slate, and it's still October.
College football.
So
It's
yes,
football.
Yes, because there are a lot of buys for college football.
We
Plus,
will never say no to football.
No, never.
And speaking of football,
Right.
Sunday will bring us more football. But first, Joey, we got a game on Thursday.
We do.
We got the
And we have
Bucs.
no buys Sunday. I
Yeah,
don't think.
we can't get to Sunday
Right.
without playing on Thursday night. And Thursday night, interesting. One of the league's weirdest teams, the Bucs at the Bills. 8.5-point dogs are Tampa Bay. I believe that is a 40. Was that 48? Am I seeing that right? 48 point total?
Let me check.
Hold on.
No, 43.
43. My screen's distorted. My apologies. Jake's too poor to get a retina display. But Joey, this is a game where it has all of the trimmings to be kind of entertaining. In my opinion, the Bills
right?
defense
Like a
is
Thursday
rough.
night game, Amazon.
Let's get weird. Baker
Those games
Mayfield.
don't have a reputation of being good games, but
The Bills go like this. I mean, they are the most up and down team every single week, it feels like. And right now they feel like they're hitting on a decently high cylinder.
Yeah.
Tampa, the opposite. I think Tampa right now is trying to figure out who the fuck are we. And
Right.
I don't love teams that are trying to figure themselves out going on the road to a AFC title contender. To me, I like the over at 43. I'm not a big primetime overs guy. It's not a game that I'm probably going to have much of a lean one way or the other, totals and spreads. But I definitely will be betting props on Bet Openly for 10% cheaper than normal. That's not a big plug. But yeah, Joey, what do you think about this one? Weird game, very cool game.
But
Could be a nice Jersey game.
Buffalo has been, we're just hoping for a good game too, right? Like, Buffalo's been a really weird team. Obviously, that was a gross game. Not a gross in a bad way. Gross loss to the Pats on Sunday, so it's a great bounce back spot for Buffalo. That was actually a good game, Buffalo in New England on Sunday. That was a great 1 p.m. red zone witching hour game. Gesicki with that touchdown at the end.
Hit the
That was a damn
beautiful
good
gritty.
game. Nobody was really expecting Pats Bills to be one of the better games on Sunday early, but Bucs are a tough team to figure out too, and I like what they're doing this year. But as you said, Thursday in that hostile environment, bounce back spot for the Bills. I can see the Bills kind of whipping them, or covering by more than 10 points. So
I'm gonna look.
it was 8.5 this morning. I'm seeing 9 now. So you know what that means. My lean right now is Buffalo. Obviously going to wait till tomorrow, see if there's any news or anything, but it's not an easy place to play, and Buffalo needs to win. They need to bounce back. So I am leaning Buffalo -9. Might look at a first half line. I don't really bet quarters, but I know people are into that now. Buffalo could come out hot, though. So I might.
I will say Buffalo first half lines have not hit in the last 3 games. I was thinking the exact
Maybe
same
they're
thing
due.
before you even said it, so I went to go cite
I
myself.
don't kind of think of it. I don't really trust it. I don't trust Buffalo. I don't.
They're a hard team to trust. Like I said, they go and when I say they go like this, I'm doing
But
like
in
a
a bounce
wave.
back spot, they can kick the shit out of Tampa at home on a Thursday night. So I'm not.
They could do it in front of everybody.
Right.
I don't know what Josh Allen. Hold on, Josh Allen record on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of weird stats when it comes to guys in primetime. Ergo, Kirk Cousins. Shout out to him throwing a pick. Loved that.
But he had a good win, and people bash Kirk. People fade Kirk in
Ooh.
prime time, and then he goes and beats the Niners at home. and looked pretty damn good doing it.
Joey.
What do we got?
Josh Allen, Thursday Night Football is 5-0.
Okay.
He is 5-0.
What is he against?
12 touchdowns, 5 picks. He is 4-1 against the spread.
I love that.
I like that.
Bills -9.
Boom. Put him on it. Put it on the boys' card. Put it on the boys'
card.
card
Right now in the background.
Do it in the background because I'm going to get on to Sunday football. There is no – I think we go back to Europe next weekend. I think
Germany
they do it.
is next Sunday, and it's Chiefs-Dolphins.
Oh, that's right. You're so right.
Yes.
I completely blanked on that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Dolphins. There's haven't been many good London games, maybe ever.
We talked about Jags and Bills.
Dolphins might be one of the better games of the season. It's in fucking Frankfurt, Germany.
We talked about Jags and Bills possibly being the best overseas matchup of all time. I think this is going to fucking blow it out of the water.
Right.
But that's also next week.
Like next weekend, next Sunday, everyone in America will be waking up early.
Oh shit! Wait!
Dolphins.
It's daylight savings next Sunday.
Oh, so
we fall
back.
An
extra hour.
We get an extra hour.
Fuck yeah!
No way. That's gonna be
back,
all right.
Yeah.
Probably all right. Best. We're saying it now. This podcast wants to go on the record a week ahead of time. This is the greatest international game of all time.
There are going to be so many German NFL fans after this game.
Oh, dude, you know what we should get? You ever see Halil on Twitter? Halil Football Talk.
Yeah, he's always interacting with our
dude. You should get him on next week for the international game. Like, I don't know. Like, what? Hold on. What time is it in Germany right now?
Yeah, they're like 7 ahead.
He's not even fucking German, I don't think.
I was gonna ask. Yeah, I don't know.
Dude, you think he's gonna hop on the pod at 2:35 in the morning? I'm gonna send him this clip tomorrow, and I'm gonna be like, "Ball's in your court, son."
Yeah, good exposure for the game. Finally, the NFL was like, "Hey, we want to grow the game internationally. Let's schedule a potentially really good game there instead of like Titans."
Oh my god, just a phenomenal game. But we're getting all rocked up about games that are still 10 days away. Let's talk about what's happening this weekend.
9th. It is going to be hot on the East Coast and the Northeast, which is kind of
Midwest
weird.
Is gonna be shit. So when we're talking games in the Midwest is going to be shit for weather. Reason my old man sold his tickets, it's going to be like 40s, 30s, not good. Out west, I'm in Denver. Same deal. It's going to be 30s. So, I mean, if you're looking at anything Midwest, think bad weather. Anything out east by Joey, think good weather. And that's our weather report brought to you by AccuWeather, proud sponsor.
Exactly. Lock Talk Weather. All right. So Saints, Colts. Saints are +0.5. Colts are -0.5. I hate this game already. But shout out to the Colts for actually being fun and exciting. They were in a great game against the Browns. Another good red zone game that felt like it was 5 hours long. The Saints are kind of, how everyone has that betting shit list or no bet list. Saints, I think, have entered that territory for me. Putting money on Derek Carr is just a roller coaster. It's a brutal fucking experience. It's a pain in the ass. Who knows I have Olave in fantasy. I don't think he's being reprimanded.
So do I. I also
70-30 like a residential zone probably, but
hey, Joey, but he plays for the Saints.
But he plays for that was great.
That was insane. Dude, man. I don't know what prompts you. I mean, I guess it's panic, but it's like, dude, you were speeding. It's not like you're getting you're not getting a felony.
Whatever. But Olave's been playing well too. I kind of like the Colts here. Gardner Minshew's doing his thing. They're home. Their games have been kind of like their home crowd's really into it. Like,
Indy's, if you're talking home field advantage, Indy is like top 3-4 right now.
They don't really pop into mind, right? Like they don't really, Indianapolis doesn't come to mind when you're thinking of home field advantage. It's not Seattle or Kansas City or anyone else. So, but I'm seeing that while watching them. Give me the Colts, man, right now.
I'm happy that you brought this up because I'm gonna actually let Joey introduce the games, and I'm gonna have the line from this morning. So we're recording this on Wednesday. Wednesday is usually it's Tuesday, Wednesday, depending on exactly what kind of book it is and what they do with their limits. But these are the days where lines move the most. The Saints, they are getting steamed. They were plus 1.5 as of this morning. So a little bit of movement in the Saints' favor. Joey likes the Colts. I also like the Colts. I think the Colts are special. I think Gardner Minshew, this is like the perfect situation. Can you imagine the acid trip with Gardner Minshew and Jim Irsay?
They're probably on some shit right now.
Those boys party. Those boys party. But Joey, what game shall we go through next in our beautiful noon slate? We speaking of which, I didn't even mention perfect symmetry this weekend. We have no buys, which I don't know why there's no buys. I think it's because of Halloween, which is a weird deal. I don't know why the NFL would do that. But when you're looking at the split, we get 4 games in the late slate. We get 9 games in the early slate. You ever seen the Thanos meme where it's like perfect balance?
Yeah.
This is the perfect balance. And I'm happy that we got it. But Joey, what should we do next here for the noon slate?
All right. So my book isn't showing this, but when I saw it last, like an hour ago, New England at Miami. Miami is favored 9.5 again from what I saw last. I don't know if you can get it up quickly.
Yep, I got
back to the bounce back spots. Divisional game, I know, but in Miami's back home. Sun's going to be beaming right in Mac Jones' fucking eyes, and the Dolphins are going to – I don't know if I kick the shit out of the Patriots, but they're going to win, and they're going to cover the 9.5. That is my prediction. Bounce back spot. They need a big win after a tough loss in Philly Sunday night, and they don't have the refs.
Is Jalen Waddle playing? I know he left the game.
I don't know that actually, but I think either way, I like Miami. I think Philly's good, and they definitely were the better team Sunday night, but still there was some ref conspiracies there, which we're not going to talk about.
They were really ugly. I saw the screenshots. We all saw the screenshots. Yeah. But actually, it's funny. I have not a buddy of mine, but a cohort that is from down by Milwaukee, who is a producer on a rather larger show on the Underdog Network. He goes by Scoob. Scoob brought up a really good point. The Eagles, they're the Packers now. They get the calls. They're allowing them to do the Philly show. Don't get me wrong. Packer fans, we got the calls for a long time because we were respected, multiple Hall of Fame quarterbacks. And again, if you're a ref in Green Bay and things are going really, really well, we're going to suck that dick so hard.
So what are the Chiefs then?
Well, the Chiefs, they can be that of the AFC. I'm just the NFC.
Okay.
It's definitely the Eagles.
All right, fair enough.
Chiefs,
yeah.
But I don't think the Chiefs get calls because I think the way the Chiefs run their offense, I don't think refs can really keep up with things.
Yeah, I just saw that one clip last week of I forget who it was on them. I kept seeing it. I glanced over it, whatever. But
yeah, you're talking about the clip where it's Taylor Swift, Britney, and Jackson Mahomes
definitely not Jackson. I'm fine with Taylor Swift and Britney Mahomes, but if they bring in Jackson, then
he's there. He's there, brother.
No, that
video is hitting him with one of these. Oh, brother, it's bad.
Oh man,
it's all bad.
Yeah, no more Jackson Mahomes on our TVs this week, maybe.
But yeah, to me, in that game, I think, and you know what? I'm gonna tease it. I'm gonna talk about this game later.
Love it. I haven't looked into many totals. Right now, they're all hovering around 42, 43.5. I'm saying 45. Oh yeah, we could talk about totals some more. And I know unders have been pretty hot this year. Moving to Pittsburgh. The Jags are coming to town. Jags have a few days extra rest. -2.5 in Pittsburgh. Never an easy place to play. Pittsburgh's coming off a good win in LA, but it was probably a home game for them because the Rams probably don't have real fans, and the Steelers fans travel
Very
well.
much was. The scenes out of LA were unreal.
It smells a little fishy, this line, but I like the Jags minus 2.5. Yes, the team I was high on in the summer, and they started off kind of meh, but they picked it up in recent weeks. I think the Jags D is also really solid, and Kenny Pickett is just not there yet. And Steelers, this could end up being a pretty good game, but my lean is Jags minus 2.5.
Yeah, I lean Jags too. I've got a future on the Jags over 10.5 wins, so I'm probably gonna bet them less as we get closer to that number. They're halfway there, or almost halfway there.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh overachieving, I think, is the word that I think of when I see Pittsburgh at the moment.
Yeah.
You get the big win against Baltimore. You get the win against LA in LA. I don't know how good things can be for Pittsburgh and Keeks, my buddy. I mentioned him last week when I bet the under. This is another game. I think Pittsburgh unders have to be something that you're looking at nowadays. This offense does not want to score. They don't want to throw, and they have a bad running game. So those three things all put together are going to slow the game down. I think it's going to work in Jacksonville's favor. I think Jacksonville is playing as good a football as anybody. I think they've won 4 straight, 3 out of 4. One of the other. I mean, ever since really, I think it's 4 straight. Ever since because they started 1-2, if I'm not mistaken. They go to London, win 2 games in London, win both games after that. I think Jacksonville is in a really good spot. I would lean the Jags too, but like I said, I'm probably going to be betting the under in this game. It's not going to be my total of the week, but I do like the total 42 as long as it hovers above. 42 is a big number when we're talking totals. So 42. I mean, if I can, I may look at my book while we're doing this. But Joey, I think you're right on. I think it's Jags. I think if you're talking side, it's Jacksonville.
Trevor Lawrence in Hines or wherever it's called now, like Acrisure Stadium or something.
Acrisure, baby.
Yeah, we'll still call it Hines. Respect to Hines. But Trevor Lawrence, I don't know if he's played there yet.
Twice, lost both.
Oh, okay.
The only reason I know that is because I knew that the Jags had a stretch there when Blake Bortles was quarterback. They knocked him off 3 straight times, but Pittsburgh has gotten the best of them 2 times in a row. But again, not a Pitts. Those were also Big Ben Pittsburgh team.
And then Pittsburgh's D, respect to them.
Big respect to them. We give a lot of flowers to Cleveland. Pittsburgh's defense is just as good, in my opinion.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's defense is definitely very stout, very solid. Jacksonville's offense is clicking, but Jacksonville's defense, you mentioned how lethargic Pittsburgh's offense is. I think Jacksonville's defense will they'll stop them. So
yeah,
minus 2.5.
Yeah, Pittsburgh team total is going to be 19.5 or 20.5. I think if it's 20.5, you play it under. I think it's 19.5, you leave it alone. So something else you could probably think about on that one. Joey, where are we headed next, my brother?
We are headed to. I like this. This smells trappy.
Oh boy.
The Houston Texans are favored by 3 points in Carolina. I believe both teams are coming off buys. I have to Google. Houston definitely is.
Houston is.
The Panthers.
Carolina is not. They lost to Miami after going up 14-0.
Oh, that was, I think, 2 weeks ago.
Was it?
Yeah, because Miami played Eagles.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That was. You're right.
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago. So Panthers are coming off a bye as well as the Texans are. So that doesn't give either team more of an advantage. I think this smells a little fishy because Houston's a better team overall than Carolina. Like Carolina just is not, decent guys on defense, but I am just not impressed with Carolina. I think this is a CJ Stroud, not revenge game, but prove it game, right? Like he's going to want to show Carolina that they should have drafted him number 1 overall.
Yeah, I think
Texans minus
this is a game that's probably not getting nearly the hype that it should. It's the number 1.
This could end up being a really good game.
Pick.
Give me the Texans minus 3. Money line, I'm seeing minus 157 right now.
144 on Bet Openly.
Oh, there you go.
Somebody's
got
already
to
been
take
looking.
a look at those books with the better lines and the better odds. Texans -3.
Yeah, I like the
Gotta be.
Texans too. This is a game. To me, the Texans have won 3 of their last 4. You look at it, 37-17 over Jacksonville, good team. Pittsburgh 30-6, good team. Both of those teams are 4-2. You lose to Atlanta by 2 as 2.5-point dogs, so you still cover, and then you beat New Orleans as 2-point dogs. So you've won 3 out of 4. You've covered all 4. Carolina, yuck. You have not covered in 4 straight weeks. Double-digit loss, double-digit loss, double-digit loss, double-digit loss every single week. This team stinks. I don't care that they're at home. To me, it's Houston all day.
It's Houston all day. And the Panthers are 0-6. We haven't even mentioned that.
Yeah, let's also mention the fact that this team has not
Panthers
won
do
a
not
game.
have-
Has
Panthers
no
are the
reason
only
to be
team-
nearly this close.
The Panthers are the only team in the league without a win. They're 0-6. That's not being talked about.
Yeah, shout out to the Chicago Bears, because the Chicago Bears, they have the Panthers pick.
Yeah. So that's
You did this for Bryce Young, and you don't even have the opportunity to go get Marvin Harrison Jr. next year because he gave it to the Bears.
Yeah. Well,
Brutal. But that's
so
the
CJ
truth.
Stroud's going to go in there, man, and prove to them that they fucked up. So
I agree. I want to pick our next one because I am interested in this game because it stinks and it has the lowest total that I think I've seen in an NFL game in quite some time.
Is it the
Atlanta,
Falcons? Yes.
Tennessee. This thing, Atlanta's a 3-point favorite. What is it right now? Do you have it in front of you? I don't know. I don't have it in front of me. This was a 36-point total this morning. Holy shit, Joey. This is crazy. We're getting into the mid-30s. I get that unders are hitting at a historical rate.
Yes.
This is fucking low.
One's in the mid-30s, which is
This
crazy.
is so low. This is Big Ten
Crazy.
low.
Like the range is from 35, not even 30. Like I'm seeing 34s, 35s to like 44 max.
Yep.
And then you see some that are 48 if it's like Lions and whoever. That's just like what I'm thinking of how it's kind of been this season, the past few weeks, especially.
Sure.
And Atlanta's really interesting because they're finding ways to win games and they're actually a pretty exciting team. Tennessee is, to me, they're really annoying and they're on my not no bet list, but no touch list. Like whether I'm betting on them or betting against them, I don't want to touch them with fucking 10-foot pole. But is this an Arthur Smith, Nicolas Cage revenge game for
What did you just call it?
Nicolas Cage, Arthur Smith's nickname? Yeah.
Is that what he is? Oh, I guess
yeah.
he's got the cracked out, like wide eye look. To me, he looks like Big Cat. Like I can't stop the Big Cat thing in my brain.
Yeah, a little bit of him mixed with Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage. Oh my God, I love that so much.
Yeah, I forget the account that did like all the NFL coaches, what they would be if they weren't NFL coaches, and Arthur Smith was just Nicolas Cage. So that was pretty. Mike Vrabels was like high school football coach who.
I think I remember Matt LaFleur was a nail tech. So
Yeah.
we'll
Mike
talk about
McDaniels,
that.
like,
We'll talk about that angry midget in a minute.
Yeah, those were good. Those were very funny. 35.5.
35.5. Oh, it went down.
I like Atlanta too, but Tennessee's coming off a bye at home.
So we're getting Will Levis this weekend, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I only found that out because my fantasy football league, I needed a quarterback, and he's projected
Great
7.5 points.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to touch this game at all.
No, it's not anything I'm even
do is just
close
not
to
touch this,
sniffing.
right?
And I think that's why the total went so low is because Vegas is like rookie quarterback versus Desmond Ridder. Yeah, I think we'll just take the under. So if you'd like to move on, we can move on and not talk about this game.
Yeah, let's not, because I don't want to get thoughts in my head until
Well, let's get some thoughts out of your head because I want to know what you think about the Giants, because the Giants and the Jets play this weekend. Can anybody guess where they play? They play in New York. And
this is a tough home game for the Giants. because you want this to be an away game, right? So
I have a question. When Aaron Rodgers goes down, and you have to, this is a hard question. So you need to, I'm asking you right now, and I'm asking you as a friend, can you rewind your brain for me? I need to know what Joey Locks was thinking when the day after Aaron Rodgers went down. What was the line going to be for the Jets and the Giants in this game?
Giants had already gotten smoked by Dallas week 1 when that
Oh,
happened.
you're right. Yeah, no, you're right. They had. That was Sunday night. So I guess fresh out of your brain, maybe think this.
But you know what? It seemed like the Giants were throwing in the towel on the season and everything. But they're fighting, man. They're still alive. They know it. They're a game and a half out of the wild card, I think. This just goes to show how long of a season is, all that. I don't want to touch this game just from a fan perspective. I don't hate the Giants +3. I don't hate the Giants money line at home. Oh, that doesn't really make that big difference.
I like it.
There will be more Giant fans there because of the tickets. Sure.
Oh, Jets fans they didn't have any interest going to this game up until the last 2 weeks.
But do the Jets look nice? They need to feed Breece Hall. He's automatically one of the better running backs in the league, and I think I know they were easing him back in post-injury. They also are coming off a bye, so it's tough. The 36-point total is very interesting. I'm seeing over 36 at -120 now. You know what that means?
Can that go over? That can go over, right?
Oh, yeah. I also like what Tyrod's doing. I think they're going to keep going with him as well. I haven't read any news on Daniel Jones, but
yeah, I was going to say, how many weeks without Daniel?
This is going to be the third game without him, I think. So, but Tyrod looks good, and he's putting it right on the money.
Dude, to his credit, he just never has gotten a fair shot at any job ever.
Shout out Tyrod Taylor. He brought the Bills to the playoffs that one year after like 20 years. That man deserves a lot of respect.
Absolute legend. If there was we need like a backup Hall of Fame in the NFL of guys that, wow, he should have really got a better chance and never did. And Tyrod, you can lead that out. But
first team, that guy. Exactly.
That's
what my thoughts are. I think this is going to be a good game and not a total shit show, which is kind of refreshing.
I think it'll be better than what people think, especially with good weather. With bad weather, I'm all over this being 36 points. With good weather, I don't see why you can't hit 40.
I saw potential for rain Sunday, but it is going to be hot. It's going to be like 80 and sunny here this weekend. So
we'll see.
We'll see, man. I hope the Giants pull out the win, but the Jets are fighting too. And they're, I think, only one game out of the lead of AFC East, which is crazy.
Insane.
Moving on, we're going to move down the Parkway a little to – I was going to say to Philly, but even a little bit more south to
Philly, Washington.
Philly -6.5. I like it just because I know the Commanders, it's a divisional game. You want to take the home dog, divisional dog, but they're kind of falling apart. I think I would say Riverboat Ron's in the hot seat. So my initial lean is Philly. Philly is fucking rolling. I know Washington tends to play them close and they can slow them down, but Commanders kind of fallen apart the past few weeks. So,
I mean, you lose to the Giants in the state of the Giants, you're falling apart. I mean, that's unfortunate. The Eagles, to me, I mean, they're a sub 300 money line. You feel like you could find a pairing for that and make that somewhat justifiable. But to me, 6.5, I agree. If you're going to lean one way, you got to go Philly. I don't know what your juice looked like. It looked like that line was teetering on 7 as of this morning. But to me, 43.5 point total either. I don't know. I don't know much about, about what kind of Philly, because we remember Philly lost to Washington last year as like pretty heavy dogs. So
and they almost did a few weeks ago in Philly.
Yeah, exactly. So it's hard.
2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So
Yeah, it's hard for me to go full blown into Philly, but if I got to lean somewhere, if you're going to twist my arm, I got to go Philadelphia. Washington, especially a loss against the Giants, a team that I'm sorry is not being very serious right now. Yeah, that's a tough matchup for them, but you're Washington at home. You are now the Commanders, the new Commanders. So
yeah,
I want to talk about a few more noon games here. Not many to go. I'm going to leave my shit show for last. Let's first talk Rams Cowboys.
That's where I was going next. You read my mind.
Perfect.
This is a really good 1 p.m. slate, noon 1 p.m. slate.
Now, why doesn't the line tell us that? Why is the line telling me that this is going to be Cowboys all day? Am I stupid to think the Rams are hanging around?
No, you're not. They just had a shit loss at home.
As bad as it gets.
Yeah, I don't hate the Rams here.
I think we both do. We both see eye to eye on Dallas. Do we see eye to eye on Dallas that we don't think very highly of them?
They're coming off a bye, though.
I would strongly suggest everyone to look at Mike McCarthy after a bye. Strong suggestion if anybody wants to find a fun analytic.
You know.
If I remember correctly.
Also, there's probably a stat like McVay after a loss he's got to be pretty good, right?
You'd imagine.
So I don't hate Rams plus 6.5. I don't hate this over 45. I don't hate it. I don't really love it, but it's something that might be an over. I haven't taken many overs this year, which is crazy, but something worth noting. Fuck that game.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
There's one more noon game we got to go
yeah,
through.
There is.
There's one.
Minnesota's got to take this, right? They look good.
If Minnesota's half the team that I think they are, they should win this game by a touchdown.
They look good. They're picking their shit up.
However, if there was an award for the weirdest team in the National Football League, that makes no sense. Analytics, first and half splits, who starts, who doesn't, what the rotation is, what the play calling is, how it gets split, and who actually is calling the defense. It's the Green Bay Packers. And I've now come to a point where I'm just excited for the fact that I root for maybe the weirdest team in the NFL. And honestly, this is a game where Minnesota fucks up and loses. To me, the Packers are at a perfect spot. So they did this. They did a Packer Viking. I think it was a side-by-side when the Vikings lose or win the week before and the Packers lose. I think the analytic was the Packers are like 68% since like straight up since like 1970 something. But with everything Packer related in the last 2 decades, I have to take it with a grain of salt because it's Jordan Love. And Joey, guess what? Jordan Love probably isn't the guy. He's probably not. And if he is, he's not the guy that people want him to be. He's going to be the game manager. He's not going to be the throw it around the field guy. But long story short, I don't know why anybody doesn't bet the under. 43 points is way too many fucking points in this game.
See, I'm seeing 41.5.
God damn it. I missed the boat. Son of a bitch.
The boat. Shit.
I missed. So, live reaction of Jake missing the goddamn boat. 43 this morning, 41.5. So the Sharps were on it, and now it's been sniped. 41.5. What's 43 to 41.5? It's only the number that I brought up earlier as a very important number. But
right. So
what do you think, Joey? What are your thoughts?
We're going to see some snow?
No. What? Are we?
I don't know. I kind of forget what you said before about.
No. Snow possibly in Denver. Not quite to Wisconsin yet. So weather's going to be shit. It's going to be like 30-some degrees and rainy. The Packers can't run the ball. So
I love the under even more.
Yeah. So if you're going to bet anything in that game, bet the under. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Can we please talk about the shitty 3 o'clock slate that we get again?
I don't know where you were going with that, but the next one I'm seeing, which I really like this game right now, is Browns +3 in Seattle. Tough travel, tough place to play. Cleveland is a good team. Cleveland's a good team.
I mean, dude, if you can plug and play PJ Walker and beat teams that have been consistently playoff teams the last few years, I got to give you your flowers. I mean,
Cleveland's a good team.
Cleveland is as good as, I mean, shout out, it's Stefanski, right? I think Stefanski's the coach.
Yeah.
Dude, he has put on an absolute clinic on how to pull a team that has been historically misfits and have turned them into like a pretty well-oiled machine. When your defense is good, you don't turn the ball over, and you're good at running the football, which no Jerome Ford this weekend. That's going to be interesting. He's doubtful.
I didn't see that.
Doubtful, so it's not 100%. So they could be without nobody in the backfield that they're used to, and down to their third-string running back. So that could be interesting. But yeah, we'll see how it goes closer to the weekend. But I don't hate your thought process there.
Yeah. That might be a tease piece, Cleveland.
It's hard to score.
Seattle didn't look that great on Sunday.
I think
I don't have any thoughts there. All right, we'll breeze through the remaining ones.
Yeah, and I don't think there's a ton of ones that Baltimore 8.5, depending on what your line looks like. Totals 44 against Arizona. Arizona now has looked like shit for 4 straight weeks without covering. I'm going to talk about that game in a minute, so I'll go right past it. Cincinnati, this is a game that you like, Joey. I think we're going to touch on a little bit as well. So +5.5. What is it now?
+4.
+4 because Brock Purdy has officially been ruled out.
It is Sam Darnold's season again.
And for my boy who lives in New York, you want to talk about somebody who knows Sam Darnold. We'll talk about that in a minute.
I live in the greater New York area. We'll call it that.
You get it. You get it.
Yeah.
Kansas City,
Denver.
Lay 7.5. What the fuck are we doing? I get it.
Yeah.
They hung around with Packers.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Maybe you go Kansas City, Denver, and
Denver kept it pretty close. That was like a 10-point spread a couple Thursdays ago, right?
Right.
In Kansas City.
No, they didn't. It was it ended up closed at 9.5. They lost by 11.
Yeah, there was a lot of late money coming in. Kansas City just covered
that cover in. But
yeah, Kansas City can cover the 7.5 in Denver easily. They'll win by 10 plus.
I'm actually in Denver. We're gonna be flying out. I thought about going over and checking out the tailgate scene, see what they got going on. We're going to a Packer bar, which is 3 blocks from Empower Field or whatever it is. So may mosey on over, see what Denver's got going on for tailgates. But wearing a Jordan Love jersey the week after that they made Jordan Love look like a pussy may be a bold move in Denver. So let's talk about maybe the worst primetime slate that we're going to get this entire season. Sunday night, Bears +8.5 at the Chargers. What is your thoughts? I mean, we get Teabag. Teabag looked good. Good enough.
Teabag did. The Bears looked good. Like the whole team, the defense even too. Chargers, they got to get rid of that coach, man. They got to get rid of that coach.
Dude,
they have a good team, and they just shit the bed all the time.
He is frustrating as frustrating gets. He went analytical to being a pussy that tucks his tail between his legs. Like I can't imagine
I wouldn't
more
ever
frustrating.
Feel comfortable. I do not feel comfortable laying 8.5.
No, I don't feel comfortable with that either. 46.5 point total. Interesting. Very, very high.
Yeah, Bears put up some points, man. Foreman was running mad.
Foreman sitting on my bench, scoring 3 touchdowns. That was awesome.
Yeah, but
But yeah, no, I don't have a whole lot. I don't think I'll be betting the Sunday night game. Monday night, I think it's going to be Prop City for me. Detroit laying 8. I don't know if that's changed. 46 is the total. Joey, what are your thoughts? To me, it's Vegas plus 8, if anything. Just because I think Detroit overachieved early. I think we saw them regress to more of a mean now, but Vegas also.
Yeah.
Vegas is just
I
right.
actually love Detroit. I think.
Ooh.
I think they were due for regression last week, and a lot of people were on the Ravens because of that. Like, Lions were due for a shit loss, but they're going back home Monday night, prime time. Should be pretty healthy, and obviously Gibbs, showed what he can do with Montgomery being out. And my thoughts on the Raiders. So I would right now I feel pretty comfortable laying 8. But yeah,
I don't hate it
there, man.
I don't hate it.
Wow, it's spooky season, okay, and it's also time to get the let out.
Time to get the let out. Do you want to get us started with your favorite?
I'm gonna pass it over to you.
Oh, very bold. I'm going to take the Houston Texans laying 3. I already have a position at plus 104 on Bet Openly. Very excited. Just a unit down on that one. I think the Texans are the wrong line when it comes to Vegas this weekend. Carolina, like I said, they have looked like shit. They have failed to cover now. And I said only 4 straight. They've actually failed to cover in 5 because they technically pushed against the Saints. And they didn't cover 14.5, 9.5, and a couple of 4.5s. Why the fuck are they going to cover 3 against one of the most up-and-coming teams in the league? I like Houston as my fave.
I like that too. Why we talked about it earlier. CJ Stroud's going to go in. He's pissed. He doesn't show it, but he's pissed that Carolina passed on him. Houston's a better team overall too. So
absolutely,
my money's on Houston too. My favorite, I'm going to go to college here. I love Penn State covering 32 at home against Indiana, who is a much more inferior opponent. Penn State coming off a loss back home, not a look-ahead game. I think they're playing Maryland next week. They're kicking the shit out of much lesser opponents, and I think James Franklin has the spread in mind. They cover the 32. That's my favorite of the week.
If you're an Indiana fan and you have to watch Michael Penix in Washington,
that's got to be tough.
Your team has never been good. Never, ever, ever, ever. You've never had a good player. It's not anybody that's been worth half of a shit that has came through that program. Ooh, Joey's got the New York background, baby. The boys in blue. Shout them out.
Oh, yeah. It's my alarm, man.
But, dude, I'm telling you.
All day.
Indiana, if you are an Indiana fan, you have to be the most upset, deranged. You let probably the Heisman champion fucking walk. And it's just
that's how the portal goes, man.
That's how it's a fucking cold world. But I like where you're at. I do think Penn State bounces back. I think the first half line I looked at is roughly like 16.5, 17. So that's tough. I don't think I would take that much in the first half. Penn State has shown us start a little slow sometimes.
They can be a little slow to start. I just think they're in a great bounce back spot, and they're not – Ohio State's a great team, and their defense is awesome. So they're playing Indiana at home now this week, Penn State is, and I think they roll. Moving on to the dog.
Give me a dog.
Cincinnati Bengals plus 4. I don't trust Sam Darnold. And the Bengals.
How could you?
Who are coming off a bye. Correct me if I'm wrong.
They were one of the 6.
There were so many byes last week. The Bengals, who are coming off a bye and are starting to pick their shit up a little bit. They are well rested. They are heading into San Francisco. So, yes, that is tough to travel out there. but they're also playing Sam Darnold. The Niners have shown that they're vulnerable in recent weeks. So right now, Bengals are +4. Give me the +4. They could win this shit outright. I mean,
I am thrilled you said that because that is my favorite dog as well. But out of the respect for the game, I am going to give you a second one.
okay.
I will be betting that one, I promise. And it's funny, I'm
Oh,
looking
yeah.
at my book right now. That game is not available. Interesting.
Let me
usually-
see if it's still up on mine. Yeah, I'm still getting +4.
Still getting +4? Okay. As long as you're getting +4, I'll feel confident at +4.
It's gonna
However-
move, though, right?
Oh yeah, it's already moved. It was looking at it before. I had it this morning at +5.5. So yeah, it's definitely made its move. To me, favorite dog. I'm gonna get a little Thursday night football action, not in the NFL. We're going to college football. Thursday night, Syracuse
I was gonna say
catching 3 at Virginia Tech. Syracuse has been a clunker. They have. I've been a guy that's backed them very heavily. They have kind of clunked out. Their bottom, their rock bottom, was last weekend. In the last 2 weeks, they've scored 10 points offensively. Virginia Tech, not much better, but they did knock off Wake and Pitt. I think this is a really good spot for Syracuse. To me, last year I watched this game. It was 2 years ago I watched this game. 41-36. Garrett Schrader, I believe, had about 450 yards of offense. Virginia Tech, historically not great against dual threat quarterbacks. This season alone, Jordan Travis lit them the fuck up. I think this is a good spot for Syracuse. That is my dog.
Love it. Love
And
it.
I'm going to move on to my
Probably
total.
ride tomorrow.
My total, and I'm gonna stand on business, as some of the guys may be saying right now. My unders, I'm 7-0 with NFL unders this year. Your boy can find the stinkers, and my stinker this week is one that I think some people are going to be scared of. New England, Miami, under 47 points.
Okay.
I think that game is going to be way tougher than people think it is.
Yeah.
Last season, so just looking at the previous one, so the total in this game again, I'm going to repeat it, 47 points. Joey, we were talking about 36-point totals in the NFL. We're 11 points higher than that in a season where unders are hitting at a historical rate. Besides that, the previous 5 games for Miami and New England, 24-17, well under the total. 23-21, well under the total. 20-7, well under the total. 17-16, well under the total. And 33-24, right on the nose. So this is not, or 33-24, sorry, that's 10 over. Duh. Bad math.
I was like,
But anyway,
I think he's
4 out of the last 5 times these teams have faced, it ends up being lower than it is. Old Bill, it was just announced that Bill Belichick got an extension. And what does he do? He comes out and beats the Bills. I think that New England, now that Mac Jones is fully healthy, am I fucking this up? No, I'm not. I was like, for some reason, I just randomly put Bills in my head. And for some reason, when I'm saying New England, Bills is crossing my brain.
They are definitely playing 1 p.m. Miami.
Oh no, it's definitely getting played. I know that because I bet this game, I think yesterday, because I thought 47 was a little bit too good to be true. Turns out it's holding strong, which I'm surprised at. I don't look at splits a whole lot. Public's 67%, money's 97% on action, but that's my total. I'm gonna stick with the unders until they fail me.
Yeah, I haven't given much thought to this total, but that's an interesting take you have there because obviously Dolphins can light it up. New England scored a lot last week against a good
This
defense.
is the hardest part is they can do it themselves.
Yeah. And like New England last week against Buffalo, they put up a good amount of points too. I think almost 30.
Comparable.
So
They were good for once.
this is a good, interesting game. that we're going to circle back to in a second. After I talk about my total, my favorite total is West Virginia at UCF over 58. Big
Interesting.
12.
Go
in
on.
Florida. Both teams are good against the over or to the over. Give me over 58 because why the fuck not?
So this is West Virginia UCF, you said?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I like this. I like this a lot.
Oh, yeah.
That's I'm a big fan of that. Joey,
That's
gonna
the
lead you.
new, like the old, not even the old, but like, Baylor, Kansas State, noon game. Oh, that's going over. When those totals are set at like 63, all that shit. I like this. Like West Virginia, UCF, both teams are good against the over. I'll look up right now. That's over teams in college football. Oh, UCF is 5-2 to the over. West Virginia is. This is my analysis right here. I'm just looking at how good they are against the over. West Virginia is 4-3 to the over. Give me the over. Fuck it.
Give them the over. Look at that total.
Give me the over 58 right now. Love
Joey,
it.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. You don't like betting totals, do you?
I like it. I'm not. I've stuck to NFL totals more this year.
I got you.
Yeah. I don't
Now-
do many college totals. I like Big 12 overs years past for sure.
Oh, yeah. You can't do that anymore. You
Big
can't get
10
away with,
overs, Big 12 overs, shit like that. But
you can't get away blindly
I
betting
didn't really
anything.
touch many college overs this year. Like one of my lead pipes was LSU weeks ago. I don't think LSU was hidden under this year. But anyway,
True.
it's time to get the lead out. My lead pipe lock is the Dolphins first half -5.5. Dolphins
Nice.
got to bounce back. They're back home. They don't give a shit what the Patriots just did to Buffalo. Pats had a good, tough win against a divisional opponent. Can they repeat it down in Miami? I don't think so. As great as a coach as Belichick is, whatever. McDaniel's a wonderful coach too. Miami just lost a tough one in Philly Sunday night. They are going back home. They should be pretty healthy. I don't know about Waddle, but even without him, I think Dolphins get out pretty early. I think Tyreek has the game. Pat's secondary is still banged up. Don't forget about Gonzalez and I forget who else who are out for season or for the foreseeable future. Tyreek Hill, keep an eye on him.
Health
I
in
think
question.
they roll. I think they cover the full spread. I think they cover the 5.5. I know it's a scary spread because it's Pats, it's divisional, all that shit. But lead pipe lock, give me the Dolphins. First half, -5.
Love it. My lead pipe, I'm going to go NFL here. A game that we really didn't touch on a whole lot. I like the Baltimore Ravens laying 8.5.
All right.
The Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals now have lost 4 straight. I rattled them off. They've lost by double digits 4 straight times. Baltimore, on the other hand, an amazing win against Detroit last week. You knock off Tennessee the week before after a really ugly game against Pittsburgh. That game kind of like scared me. I was like, oh shit, here we go again. It's going to be very midsy Baltimore, but they've come back. Tennessee, not a great team, good team, or decent team, I should say. But Detroit, who was thought of as one of the best teams in the NFC, you come in there and you steamroll them by 30. So to me, I really, really like Baltimore 8.5. And shout out your boy. He's now hit 3 straight lead pipe locks.
You're on a roll, kid.
On a roll.
Lead pipe lock king, some would say, of Lock Talk. Shit.
Well, when we're talking about total standings, Royal is leading the way at 3-1 or 3-1, 1-0 on locks. Joey in second place, 11, 8-1, 2-3 on the lead pipe locks. I'm still 8-2. I'm working on it. I have not missed a total yet. I want that on the record. I can bet an under. That's all I can do, but I can bet an under.
They're pretty easy this year. You just take a look at an NFL game.
Shut up, Joey. They're not easy. They're hard. You don't want to bet for points.
How about we have a group total or lead pipe lock, whatever you want to call it. Your Packers, Vikings under. You said it's going to be shit or whatever. It's going to be freezing. Sure, under.
Dude, I can't, dude. I would if I wasn't. So, like I said, I'm in Denver.
That's a 20-16 game.
Might
even hit the over.
I'm having bottomless mimosas before the Packer game. I do not want to have to bet an under after having bottomless mimosas.
41.5 right now.
Oh, it was at 43.
That's what we're talking about. Yes, it was at 43.
I'll get back on that. We'll make that known if it happens, but I don't think I'm going to have the balls to do it with the amount of drinking I'm going to be doing that day.
Yeah, no, bottomless mimosas will catch up to you pretty quickly. So, but don't let that hurt your bank account.
Yeah, shout out my bank account this weekend. He's getting
always got to be careful. Shout out to all the degens listening. Be careful.
Yes,
don't drink and gamble too much.
Yeah, not too much, but a little bit. But no, that's all I got, Joey.
That is all I got too. Another good weekend of football ahead of us, and we have the World Series starting soon. We have college basketball coming back. We have NBA starting and NHL. What a time to be alive.
It is the best. For Jake O'Kane, it's Joey over at Lock Talk. Appreciate everybody for listening. Amazon Music, Spotify, Twitch, YouTube, and X/Twitter. It is Lock Talk. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Adios.
And load, and the record.